Anyway, back to the movie. The main character, as you said, Melanie, is known only as the second Mrs. De Winter, and that's true in the novel as well as this film. And I think that is the key to unlocking this whole thing. Now, I'm not a du Maurier scholar, so I can't speak to her body of work or common themes that she explored in her work or whether she was a feminist or not. I don't know anything about that, and I didn't have time to do any research this week. But whether she intended it or not, du Maurier has touched on something that I think is very interesting. She has made a conscious choice um, not to give her protagonist a name. So she is known only in relationship to someone else. She is Mrs. Van Hopper's servant, or she is Maxim's wife. And when she's given a name, it's only in reference to her relationship to a man, the second Mrs. De Winter. Now, that is something that we as women are still dealing with today. We are, especially women in middle age, we are someone's mother or daughter or aunt or wife or sister. Even Amal Clooney, with all of her professional experience and accolades, is generally known as George Clooney's wife. And let's not forget, I think it was just a couple of months ago, when Sarah Mullally was named as the Archbishop of Canterbury. Sky News led with this headline: "Woman named as Archbishop of Canterbury in historic first." And then the first paragraph of the story read this way: "The 63-year-old Archbishop designate is married to Iman Mullally, with whom she has 2 children. Originally from Woking in Surrey, she was the UK's chief nursing officer from 1999 to 2004. So Sky News had the headline and the first paragraph of their news story, and they didn't even name Sarah Mullally. And that's in 2025, right? So the church was lauded for appointing a woman, and the woman herself is referenced as a wife and a mother, all before they mentioned her name. Now, they did go back and do a rewrite because they got such backlash from this, and yay for the people who gave them backlash. Go team. But clearly, the author wrote it without thinking about it, and it made it through the editorial staff, and everyone signed off on this before it went live, and nobody noticed that her name wasn't mentioned. So was du Maurier making a comment on this, or at the very least acknowledging that this was common or maybe the status quo in her world? Is that what she was doing in her novel? It's entirely possible. Now, for the sake of argument, let's say that she did do that. That makes the study of the hero's monologue really interesting. So let me quickly recap the theory on this whole hero's monologue thing. So a character, the main character, the protagonist, has an object of desire, and the object of desire is something that she wants so badly, she's going to move heaven and earth to get it. And our jobs as storytellers is to let the audience or the reader know why the character wants this object of desire so badly. So the hero's monologue is all about the why, right? It's explaining to the reader why, the motivation, why the character is doing what she's doing. Why does the character want it so badly? What makes her tick? Why isn't she going to give up on this? Because if there isn't a good reason, when the going gets tough, as it must, if you're going to have a story that works, the main character is going to abandon the thing she's going after. And if she doesn't abandon it, the audience or the reader is going to get really confused and wonder why she isn't giving up, because the whole journey doesn't seem worth the bother, right? That's what will happen, and your reader will just lose interest in your story, close the book, and go on about their life. With Rebecca, we have a couple of interesting things happening. So first of all, the second Mrs. De Winter is mostly a passive character.